So, Paul, homelessness increases the likeliness of being a victim of violent crime and or exploitation. One significant problem facing Anchorage's homeless population is a lack of appropriate housing. Recognizing the imminent economic strain on the state and municipality, what is your plan to address this problem within the continuum of detox facilities, residential addiction recovery, housing first options, particularly to ensure that Carlick Manor is able to maintain operations and affordable housing for low-income individuals?
That is a big question. That's a big question. You hear me? Okay.
Yes.
It's a complex issue, and it's something that we need to address. I know the current administration started a homeless task force in the beginning of his term, and I didn't see any kind of completion that I think we need to continue to put that task force together with a competent individual of coordinating all the nonprofits and organizations around the city to work in the concept that this organization is about on a we process. The only way with that task force, you put together to find the solutions, recommendations, and then the whole key to having a mayor that follows through on this is to make sure it continues on, and hopefully when the funding comes, of course, we're going to lobby for that funding to help out on the issues.
There is a lack of detox and associated substance abuse treatment options in Anchorage. There is a strong correlation between substance and alcohol abuse and incidents of violence. A significant portion of violent crimes in Anchorage have alcohol or drugs involved. The cost of first response and incarceration could possibly be reduced if detox, assessment, and treatment services were provided to at-risk individuals. Do you support funding the creation of additional detox and substance abuse treatment facilities in Anchorage?
Absolutely. An increase in services will obviously help the problem throughout the community. It's a matter of funding and where we're going to get it from. Of course, the state's going to go through their issues, but I think the community needs to jump in again on the we concept with the nonprofits, and also all the cultural corporations out there to work together to develop some of these centers around town.
Many of our community strategies to address violence focus on dealing with the immediate and long-term aftermath of violence that has already occurred. But in order to effectively reduce violence, we must focus on primary prevention or stopping violence before it ever occurs in the first place. What is your understanding of primary prevention strategies, and which strategies would you prioritize for Anchorage in your role as mayor?
A lot has to do with education. Of course, our children who witness and are part of violence in the home tend to pick up that type of violence and carry it on to the outside. So education is very important for those preventive strategies. And as mayor, again, it's about bringing together folks and having a public education process that will fan out to every institution, including our schools, that would address preventing the violent behaviors that would stem from working out in the community. So I think the school district needs to be part of that. As mayor, I would of course invite them as part of a task force to keep this program going.
Most people would agree that there's a link between criminal activity and the number of officers in the department. Please tell us your view on the link and how crime and staffing intersect.
Yeah, it goes back to what most of us have all been saying, increase in the police presence on the streets, but it also involves a lot of folks coming again together to develop a community that's all going to work together. That means increasing neighborhood watch programs or develop new programs to get neighbors and people involved in reporting crime, even petty crime. So I believe it's the lack of presence. Criminals and gangs are going to take advantage of the lack of police if they don't see that presence out there. And they're also going to continue to go on when they know their neighbors aren't going to say anything. We got to get everybody involved, community presence, neighbors talking with each other and sharing information.
Have you met with Police Chief Mew to ask about APD's actual needs?
No, I have not. When I was on the Anchorage Assembly, although I did challenge Mr. Baggage to work on more of the gang violence, gang issues that were coming up at the time from 2005 to 2008. I was the chairman of the Public Safety Committee on the Assembly, and gangs happened to be my priority. But no, I have not talked to you recently. I do keep up with all the issues that are happening. I was the commandant of the Alaska Military Youth Academy where I dealt with at-risk youth, and there was an effort there at the time when I was commandant to bring those, the police and everybody involved into working with at-risk youth, which I believe is a great program that we need to expand with our community to put more kids in there. But in the future, yes, of course, I will work with my chief as mayor. In fact, I tend to work diligently with them on a weekly basis to solve issues.
Thank you.